And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Thursday, July 30th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with y'all for the next 2 hours. On today's show, buy or sell for Texas football in 2026. Can the Longhorns make history this season? We will debate, plus some sound from Arch Manning and Colin Simmons from SEC Media Days that we have yet to get to. We'll let you hear from QB1 and, for my money, the best defensive player in college football this season. We've got some NFL to dive into, some sound from Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans training camps, and a couple of big headlines from around the league. And, of course, we'll get to the BBK news and why today's not so bad as well. It is a Buck Off Thursday edition of the program. We'll take your Buck Ons, we'll take your Buck Offs, and we appreciate y'all spending some of your Thursdays with us. Buck on to you, my man. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous, man. How about yourself? You doing okay?
All is good up here. I won't brag about the weather because I know you're going through it back home.
Warm. It's warm here.
Yeah, just warm. That's it.
Hey, I think the temperature will be less than 100 today, but on Saturday, BK, 105.
Oh,
so whatever it feels like, the number will be 105. It's not the feels like, it truly will be on Saturday. Possibility of a little bit of rain on Sunday. Other than that, back to the heat again of next week. Lots of sun. Hey, you want sunshine? You got sunshine now.
I don't want sunshine. I'm good. I'm coming back tomorrow night after the show, and it sounds like I'm walking into hell when I step off the plane.
It may be a little cool. Saturday is going to be funny because it's going to be a little cooler on Saturday. I mean, not cooler, but the humidity will be down. It'll be dry. Hey, it's that dry heat, the dry heat that when you stick your head in that oven.
Yeah.
It's the dry heat, but we could have a little bit of rain, but next week it's back to just 100, 99, whatever it is. It's July. It's Texas. You've been there. We've done this thing before.
Well, by the time we get to the weekend, it'll be August. So that is usually worse than July. So we've got some hotter days coming, but that's, we know it. We signed up for it. It's why we live where we live. And it's why I don't know if that's why we love where we live, but we deal with it. That's how it goes.
You know what? Big buck on to Jerry Jones, because Jerry has spoken. And that's when that guy speaks, everybody listens. That was good yesterday. He came up with some good, whatever it is. That guy's always good for a couple of sound bites. He's awesome.
You know what? Let's play it again right off the bat. Actually, before we do, how about your soldier shout out?
Good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. We thank you so very much for the great job that you do. And to you and your families, please be careful out there.
Yes, indeed. So Jerry spoke yesterday. He'll speak a number of times throughout Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard as we inch closer to the start of the NFL season. And he talked about the possibility of the Cowboys making one more trade before week one. He talked about the possibility of the Cowboys potentially being involved with Max Crosby. And that was all great. Those were the headline grabbers for sure. But I think most random Jerryism that we got from yesterday, and obviously we've gotten a lot of Jerryisms over the years from.
I want me some glory hole.
And, of course, more recently.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes. Very low percentage.
Sorry, Jerry. I love that the two clips that we have at our disposal are both about glory holes. That tells something about the maturity of this show.
Let me ask you this. Did you ever save the one where he talks about option football, running down in the corner? And then
no. I don't have it. It was so long. I'll cut it up just for fun for S&Gs. We could play it again before the start of the season, but
oh my God.
That was a great one.
And you get to the sideline and you pitch it where the guy's 8 yards out of bounds already, Jerry.
I think that was regarding Micah Parsons before he was traded to Green Bay. It was Jerry Jones comparing himself to the option quarterback. Like, I'm the guy in charge. I could either keep the ball, I could hand it off, I could pitch it to somebody. I mean, he's all over the place. But I think the most random, ridiculous thing that he said yesterday was about expectations. He was asked about expectations for the Cowboys this season, and he quoted Barry Switzer, and I don't even know. We couldn't figure it out yesterday.
Wagon trains on fire and the wood falling off, the wheels falling off the wagon train. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here it is again. If you want to try to decipher it today,
we've got a chance to really be good. It's going to be hard. It's going to be nip and tuck. As old Switzer used to say, we're going to burn some of these wagons on the way to California for firewood. We're going to lose some folks. We're going to have some barn, but the wagon train is going to get there. So bottom line is, I love the excitement. You guys, for all practical purposes, don't expect us to be a contender in the Super Bowl. Y'all don't. Why would you? I like that. I do.
Yeah, why would you expect? We don't, Jerry. Nobody's expecting that. You're right. Why would we? He said it right. Why would you expect that? It's
been
me.
Years of you not coming close to a Super Bowl. So that's exactly why we don't expect you to compete for a Super Bowl this year.
Oh, my God. All of that mess. And Switzer, I can imagine Switzer saying that. Yes.
I feel like Switzer said some ridiculous stuff, and he wasn't always the most eloquent in front of a microphone, but I don't think he botched it as much as Jerry Jones just botched that, from nipping and nicking, and Jerry almost said a word that he can't say. And he's talking about people dying on the way out to training camp, and then babies being born on the way out to training camp. And I thought we were talking about football, and somehow it turns into that.
Yeah, the wagon train.
The wagon train. Well, here's somebody a little more sensible that we can hear from as we start with a little NFL conversation today. Again, Dallas Cowboys training camp going on in California. How about some sound from Schotty? Brian Schottenheimer going into year 2 as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys offense last year was very good. The Cowboys defense last year was a disaster. That's well documented. Everybody knows that. Dallas went out. They hired a new defensive coordinator with Christian Parker coming in from Philadelphia. They spent their 2 first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. They spent their most money on a free agent in a number of years, bringing in Jalen Thompson, the safety from Arizona. They traded for Rashawn Gary. They made some moves, a lot compared to what the Cowboys typically do, a little compared to what most teams do in the offseason. But Schotty was asked about his confidence level in the Cowboys' new look defense here in 2026.
I'm very confident in what they can do. The scheme it fits us well. The personnel moves that we made in bringing in Rashawn Gary and D. Winters and Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence, all those moves that we made, it was not a quiet offseason for us. And it was a great offseason for us. And one that we worked extremely hard on, starting with the coaching search. And I feel amazing about what we did, bringing in the defensive staff changes with Christian Parker leading the way, and then into, free agency and getting Jalen Thompson, a guy. I mean, it has not been a quiet offseason. It's been an awesome offseason. And I think that's why we're excited. But now the goal is the Super Bowl. We don't shy away from that. But you got to trust the process.
Shy away from it a little bit, please. Don't give us too much too quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He mentioned Super Bowl. Jerry mentioned Super Bowl. Steven mentioned Super Bowl. And yes. I mean, it happens every single year, so it doesn't surprise me anymore.
No,
but
it doesn't. You're right.
Yeah. At the end of that too, he's like, yeah, we're not shying away from the Super Bowl, but you have to trust the process. It's like, well, number one, we don't trust the process. And number two, I don't think you'd be adding that caveat in there if you really felt like you had a Super Bowl quality team this year, Schotty.
Yeah, I mean, I like him word-wise. He says all the right coaching things,
He's so easy to root for. He's a great guy, obviously son of a coach, but a guy you could say he's a Nepo baby. That helped him get his start in the business for sure, but he has more than paid his dues to get this opportunity. And a personable guy, very easy to root for, says the right things, does the right things, conducts himself in a great manner. But we just don't know, right? The Cowboys were the only team that were ever going to offer Schotty a head coaching gig at this stage in his career. He was boys with Jerry Jones because he had been in the building for a while. So anytime it's a Jerry hire, Cowboys fans are like, oh, here we go again. Why don't we try something new? So he's got to prove that he is the right guy. And this is a big year for him. Again, like the Cowboys, they've got the most expensive player in the NFL playing quarterback. They've got a lot of win now pieces right there. This is not a team that is rebuilding. Like, it should not be acceptable for the Cowboys to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row with the type of talent they have on the roster. Now, they're not as good as the Rams. They're not as good as the Seahawks. I don't think they're that level of team, although I'd like for them to be, and Jerry and Shotty are talking like they might be, but they have to find a way to get into the playoffs, barring Dak Prescott getting hurt again. Otherwise, this is a total failure of a season.
I would agree. They got to get in the play. There's no doubt about it in the playoffs, at least to the playoffs. I don't know where they go from there. Like I said, it's hard to say for the Dallas Cowboys, but it's probably, you being a fan for so long, it's easy to say baby steps. It's a group that's been there, but you really had to take baby steps with this group. Christian Parker's a first-year defensive, doing the whole thing. They got to give that guy some time, but they can't be what they were last year. And once again, that word, it can't be as bad. Well, it can't be. It can't be. For this group, it can't be.
Yeah, it was historically bad for Dallas. And here's the thing, like, you talk about baby steps and you talk about, well, just getting into the playoffs, and obviously that's a step in the right direction, but no Cowboys fan really wants to just hear getting into the playoffs.
They've had Super Bowls. Some of them been around a long time, these Cowboys fans. They know what Super Bowls are like. I know It's been a long time, but there's a lot of teams that can't say that. So
forget a Super Bowl. I mean, can you just get to an NFC championship game?
That's the baby steps. Let's go baby steps, Jerry.
Right. Like, that's the issue. Every NFC team has been to an NFC title game since the Dallas Cowboys have. Like, that is the embarrassment that continues to just hover over this franchise, again, going on 3 decades now. So, like, you get there, of course, if you make it that far and you lose, you're disappointed because you're 2 wins away from a Super Bowl, but that would be just a great thing and a huge step in the right direction. But I don't expect the Cowboys to get there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL is made up, maybe not the NBA, but professional sports. The NFL their motto is every year, we're going to we're trying to get to, we want to get to the Super Bowl. We think we're good enough to get to the Super Bowl. And I mean, that's teams that, have some talented players, but they're not going to, Cleveland's not going to the Super Bowl.
No.
I mean, but their whole thing is they talk about it like before the season starts, our goal is the Super Bowl. Well, everybody's goal is that. What's your realistic goal? The NFL doesn't talk like realistic stuff. Their whole thing is Super Bowl, or it's not Super Bowl or bust, but it's always Super Bowl. You never hear them say, well, we'd like to win it. We'd like to be competing in our division for the top spot. Nobody ever says that. They don't say that stuff. It's always like Super Bowl. I'm like, dude, you don't have a Super Bowl team. What is wrong with you?
I know. Well, that's what you're supposed to say.
They don't do that in basketball and some other sports. They just kind of, the Guardians don't talk about winning the World Series. They're kind of like, we understand what it's like to try to get to the World Series, but we got some other steps we have to take first,
How about the Guardians?
The NFL does that,
Wasn't expecting the Guardians to catch a stray today, huh?
Yeah, well, they caught one. There's a lot of teams like that. I mean, there's a lot of teams in the NFL you look at and you say, they say, oh, no, you hear them talk about the Super Bowl. I mean, I know that's the word around the organization. It must feel good just to say that word, or that you're going to go to the Super Bowl, like buy a ticket and go.
Yeah, there are plenty of teams every year that going in have no chance of making the playoffs, let alone making it all the way to the Super Bowl. Like, you look at a team like Cleveland this year, you look at a team like Arizona this year. I mean, there are a lot of teams that just don't have a shot, and there's not much point in them even playing a season.
The Jets, the Giants, those teams, I mean, come on.
The Jets, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Raiders, there's a lot.
Yes.
So let me ask you this then, because the Cowboys are a lot better than those teams.
Yes.
So you talk about a realistic ceiling for the Dallas Cowboys. What you've said multiple times in the offseason, you believe the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East this year, which obviously would put them in the playoffs. So what do you think is a realistic season for America's team?
To win one playoff game.
Okay. So that would be, if they get a first-round bye, that would put them in the conference championship game. Assuming they don't get a first-round bye, that would have them losing in the divisional round of the playoffs for
I'd like to see who they'd have to play in that. If they're playing the Rams, or if they're playing the Rams or Seattle or something, I'm going to go, uh-oh, things aren't good. Things aren't good. The Rams look like it's just a loaded group, period. And if the right things fall in place, with Myles Garrett, and if things happen that was a good team. They were fantastic last year. I don't think they're going to be worse.
Well, they made it to the NFC Championship last year and were right there with the eventual Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks in that game. So, yeah, they go out and add Myles Garrett. They're trying to talk Aaron Donald out of retirement, which who knows if that works. They don't really need him, but obviously if they get him, then we all know how good
them if they have those two guys on the field. That's ridiculous.
It feels like game over. But yeah, look, if you're the Cowboys and you do win a playoff game and you do make it to the divisional round, then you are very likely playing a team like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't know if they can. They're not there yet. No. I don't trust in Shoddy or Jerry, or I don't think the defense can turn the corner that dramatically. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Well, here's one more bit of sound from Brian Schottenheimer. He was asked if there's extra pressure on these guys to win because it's the Cowboys. This wasn't really about the 30-year drought. This is just, is there extra on you because it's the Dallas Cowboys, the most valuable franchise in all of sports? Here was Shoddy's response to that question the other day.
I get up every morning, I put on this shacket, whatever you want to call it, the visor. Our guys put on their jerseys and their helmets, and they're proud of being a part of this. That's why we go to the lengths of having the legends back, and we let Drew Pearson stand up in front of the team and talk about their time. And that was their time, and it was awesome. But it's our time now. And now what we do on the field is what matters. And so we celebrate the tradition. We're proud of what this team has done, winning the 5 Super Bowls, and we are in pursuit of that every day to get that 6th one. And not just for any one of us, but for them, for the guys that have put so much into this game that they love so much. So it's very easy. I mean, it's a pride thing, and I talk to more people around the league, and there's a lot of people that want to be a part of what we're building because it's special, but also because of the Cowboys.
Well, what you got is not special yet, so stop it. They're the Cowboys, and they at some time in their organization's history, they've won a lot of Super Bowls and played in a lot of big games. They're not jumping on board because of the guys that you have right now. They like that tradition to come back at some time before a bunch of them die again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, it's cool playing for the Cowboys, but most players nowadays are going to go to the place that pays them the most money.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like there's no free agent who's out there who's like, I could either play for the Cowboys or let's just use the Chargers as an example. And the Cowboys are going to pay me $5 million less a year, but God, it's the Cowboys, so I'm going to go be a part of that. No, they're going to the place that's going to pay them more money. So yes, sure. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. We all know this.
It's a profession. It's a profession.
It's a profession. And yes, there's extra drama. There's extra circus. I do like what Shoddy said. Like, they had their time. It's our time now. Okay, well, make it happen. It's been a long time since their time. It's been decades since anyone in that building has had their time. We've been hearing this our time stuff for a long time. Now it's time to actually make that happen.
I think this year there will be a really nice turnaround. I mean, the fans won't be totally happy, or maybe not even satisfied, but I think the team will be better. I think they'll be better as a team under this particular head coach for his 2nd year. I don't think they just kind of stay like this. I think they move upward instead of staying the same or going down. I think they move upward.
Yeah, and they got some big questions that have to get answered in training camp. And obviously for most people, we won't find the answers until the actual season gets here. But, still worried about Tyler Guyton and the left tackle on the offensive line. And then you wonder about the pass rush. If only the Cowboys had a really good pass rusher that they could have used to help them get after the quarterback a little more. Oh, wait, they did. They just traded him away. They've got some guys. They made the Rashawn Gary trade. Again, they drafted Malachi Lawrence. They brought in some pieces to hopefully give them a little bit more from that department. And then, really, you could look at all 3 levels of the defense, and there's questions to answer there. But there's a lot of talent on this team. The offense should be really, really good again. that division. I mean, Philly, I still think Philly is the favorites in the NFC East. I know they've got some questions. They got rid of A.J. Brown. It feels like people are starting to sour on Nick Sirianni, and there's been all sorts of hate articles and pieces about Jalen Hurts over the last 365 days. So you wonder if that thing will totally blow up at some point. But yeah, man, again, there's no excuses for the Cowboys if they stay healthy to not be a playoff team this year. The NFC's good. They've got a tough schedule, but it would be, again, a disappointing season. And I don't think anything would happen to Shoddy. I mean, Jerry left Jason Garrett there for 10 years, and he never did anything.
For sure.
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, Shoddy would definitely be shown the door if Dallas underachieves this season. But there's, again, they've got too much in place. This is too much of a win-now team for them to not at least find themselves into the 14-team postseason.
I agree with and stand with the NFL. I believe this, that if the Tampa Bay doesn't reach a deal with Baker Mayfield and the Phillies and Philadelphia falls in there flat on their face, Jalen Hurts, I think Baker may end up in Philadelphia. Would that be just right for him? Would that be something?
You talk about the right personality for that city.
Oh my God.
And that fan base.
How could they pass on that dude? If they don't get a deal done in Tampa and Jalen Hurts doesn't get it done, let me just say this. He would be so right for that city.
Oh, man. Yeah.
They would love that dude. And he would change, and he would change that whole, I know they have, Philadelphia's been lately, get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, then have a couple years where you're just hovering around and people get pissed at somebody in your organization and they got to go. And then you bring in somebody else, and then that's the right fit again. They're almost at that time again. And that guy would be like an unbelievable fit there. And I'm not saying Hurts is really bad, or because I think he's better than most people think he is. I just don't know if his, sometimes his personality just doesn't fit. I mean, he's a hard work and all that stuff, but there's that edge in Philadelphia, and Baker's got that edge now.
Baker's got that edge. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, the reports earlier this week is that Baker Mayfield is planning to play out the final year of his contract. He's been looking for a new deal. He hasn't gotten a new deal. And as it stands right now, he's going to play out this year and become a free agent next offseason. So we will see. Maybe the Bucs get something done before the year starts and this conversation is all for naught. But as of this moment, yeah, he will be a free agent next year. And Philadelphia again. That's to hell with scheme, to hell with talent. You just talk about a personality that makes too much sense for that town. Oh yeah, put Baker Mayfield there for sure. He'll, Eagles fans will throw batteries on the field. Baker will pick one up and throw it right back into the stands at one of them.
Oh yeah, they'll have a battery chucking contest with that dude around.
They'll throw stuff at, what was it, Santa Claus that they did that one?
They booed the great Walinda. They wanted him to fall when he crossed the stadium back in the old stadium, Veterans Stadium. They wanted that guy to fall off the high wire and die.
That's Baker would probably be doing the same thing right there.
Gosh.
Put him out there. All right, so there you go. Some Cowboys conversation, some NFL chatter. We'll dive back into the NFL, talk a little Texans and some other training camp headlines from around the league. We get to some Texas football, though. We've got some buy or sell questions for the Buck for the upcoming 2026 season. But before we bring things back to campus, Buck, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
Our friends at Relax the Back embrace a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle. And once again, my back can be happier. Their motto is live wellness. And folks, they've got great savings on massage chairs, select massage chairs there, zero gravity recliners, of course, Tempur-Pedic pillows, mattresses, human scale office chairs, desk, and all the accessories that you need, not only for a bad back, but for a good back. Make sure that your back doesn't get bad, or your hips or your shoulders. Heal and recover, work smarter, sleep reimagined, and live pain-free at Relax the Back. 2 locations, the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods, and in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center. Once again, live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Yes, indeed. Love Relax the Back. Also love AV consultations.
Oh, yeah.
Got to talk to Tom McKay today, get on the schedule coming up as I'm getting ready to move. And look, Tom McKay, he's hooked me up at a few different places that I've lived at, and he'll continue to be my go-to guy. He's like the first call I make whenever I move into a new spot. Got to have the TVs. Y'all know that. And look, you got to have it too. We're getting closer to football season, 37 days away from Texas opening up the 2026 season. That means you've got just over a month to make the call to AV Consultations and elevate your home sports watching experience. I mean, the fall is the best time to be a sports fan. We spend most of our time talking about football, but of course, we're getting closer to postseason baseball. We're going to have the NBA and the NHL returning as well. No better time to be a sports fan than the fall. Make sure you've got the right TV setup so you don't have to go to sports bars or go to friends' places every single day to watch the games. Make your home the place to be with that custom TV setup from Audio Visual. They've been hooking up Central Texas since 1988. All you have to do is reach out to them, 512-255-8678. You can go online to their website, avconsultations.com. Check out the gallery of projects they've done over the years. Reach out to Tom McKay. He's a great dude. He's hilarious. And most importantly, he's going to elevate your sports watching experience. avconsultations.com, or again, 512-255-8678. And
our good friends at Hat Creek Burger Company. It's a place, of course, with good food, good folks, and a whole lot of good fun there. Hat Creek Burger is proud to be a place where you can come in hungry, but you are definitely going to leave full. Hat Creek has over 30 locations in the state of Texas, great playgrounds for the kids, and an unbelievable happy hour for the adults there. And you'll find one in your locations with the big playground for the kids. Mom and dad, it's getting, starting to get late in the summer. School's just around the corner. Get the neighborhood kids, drag them off, put them in the station wagon or the minivan, and take them to Hat Creek Burger Company, because at Hat Creek Burger Company, there's something there for everyone.
Man, nobody's got a station wagon anymore.
Come on, man. Do they even make station wagons? Is there such thing as a station wagon anymore?
That's a good question.
I don't think so. I don't think there is a station wagon anymore.
Like, they're still on the roads, but I don't know if people are like making new ones,
Oh, you see the old ones out there on the road.
Oh, those old jalopies running around. They're still there.
Yeah, I think you're right. They don't have wood paneling anymore. They don't do that. And the closest thing to a station wagon is an Explorer, I believe.
Those are still out there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Shout out to Altstadt Beer. Don't have an Altstadt Beer before driving your station wagons or your Explorers or your minivans or whatever you drive. But if you're looking to drink a beer or two or 12 this summer, Altstadt Beer should be your beer of choice. It is mine, and it has been for a number of years. Y'all have heard me talk about Altstadt for a long time. I mean, since they've opened their brewery, like, that's been my go-to beer. It's the only beer I drink in the state of Texas. If they don't have it, then give me liquor or give me death. I think that was the American Revolution line back in the day. Not sure. Altstadt, brewed in Fredericksburg. Tons of different beers, something for every drinker out there. They've got the lager, they've got the Kolsch, they've got the Hefeweizen, the Pilsner, the light beer, their seasonal October back in stores. It's fantastic. Get you some. Your favorite bars, your favorite restaurants, grocery stores, liquor stores, wherever you get your beer, shop the best. Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
The Queen Wagon Family Truckster. Wow.
What is that?
I don't even know. I have no clue what the hell that is.
Is that like a nickname, or is that like a real make and model of vehicle?
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. By the way, friendly reminder to you people, starting on Monday, this show will broadcast from 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time. We made the announcement earlier this week, but for those who may have missed it or those who just wanted to hear it again, starting on Monday, Bucky and BK, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on YouTube. And, of course, we'll podcast everything the way that we have been, and no changes to our radio slot on AM 1300 The Zone. You'll still hear us from 5 to 7 p.m. every afternoon.
Got to have that app. Oh, you got to have that app.
Download the iHeartRadio app. Download the Bucky and BK app, too, but download the free iHeartRadio app. You can catch us wherever you are. But, yes, friendly reminder, this coming Monday, fall camp starts next week, so we got to be up early to cover everything going on.
Yes, indeed.
With the Texas Longhorns. All right. Speaking of the Texas Longhorns, Buck, how about some buy or sell for the Horns for the upcoming 2026 season? We've got 8 topics for today, and shout out to On Texas Football for some of these discussion points. But I'm just going to bring up a category or a prediction, and I want you to either buy or sell for this season. We'll start with an Arch Manning one, because why not? Buy or sell, Arch Manning sets the Texas single-season passing record. The current record for most yards in a season belongs to Colt McCoy, who threw for 3,849 yards back in the 2008 season. For a little context, last year, Arch Manning, first season as a starter, he was at 3,163 yards in 13 games played. So we're looking for 3,850 or higher from Arch Manning this year. Buy or sell that he sets the new single-season passing yards record.
I'll buy.
Okay.
I'll buy. I think the offensive line will be a little bit. Well, I'm just going to say the offensive line has to be better. I think the receivers. I think you'll get more out of the running backs in the passing game. I'll buy that.
I think I'm going to buy it too. And I think it may depend on how good Texas is this year. Like,
and how good they've run the ball too. That's the thing.
But I'm talking in terms of like how many games Arch gets to play. Like,
yes.
Yeah, of course you want the whole offense to be better. And yes, Texas having a good running game will make life easier on Arch Manning. But it may be tough for Arch to get to that number if Texas only plays 13 games like they did last year.
Right.
But if Texas obviously gets to an SEC title game, that's an extra game. And if Texas makes a run in the college football playoff, then you're stacking more opportunities to break that record. Now, Colt did it in, 13 games. So maybe Arch can do it in the same amount of time, but we're obviously hoping the Longhorns are playing more than that. I expect them to play more than that. So because of that.
Yeah, the number of games, you're right.
I will agree that
I'm buying
Arch will eclipse that record. Yeah, so we're buying on that one. Speaking of the run game, Buck, buy or sell, Texas has 2 900-yard running backs this year. I trimmed it down from 1,000. That's usually the number that people look at. You got to go all the way back to 2004 when it was Vince and Ced B the last time Texas had 2,000-yard rushers. Obviously, they weren't both running backs. But we're going 900 yards for Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown, who, by the way, both eclipsed that number last year at their previous schools.
I'm going to sell on that.
Okay.
I think one guy will have 1,000. I don't think the other guy. I don't think the other. Somebody's going to have around 700 and something. But that doesn't mean they look bad or are bad. I mean, there are going to be some long runs in there, but I just don't think they'll have 2,000-yard rushers. Hell, if we have to go back that far, I mean, that can't go all the way back to Sean Mitchell and Ricky, can it?
For 2,000-yard running backs? It might.
Running backs themselves, running backs.
Yeah, it might. I actually don't know.
That may go all the way back to those guys, not the quarterback involved with 2 actual running backs. I know Sean and Ricky had it in 1 year, I believe.
That's why I trimmed it down to 900 because it's been such a long time since 2 tailbacks have gone over the 1,000-yard mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell on that one.
Okay, yeah, it's tough, and I'm just fascinated because Steve Sarkisian has always kind of been a bell cow coach. Like he'll play 2 running backs, but he's almost always had like one go-to guy and then just a complement. And he's already gone on the record and said, like, no, this is going to be like both of these guys are going to play a lot. I mean, Texas invested a lot of money in both Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers. One of them is not going to be a bench player. It's going to be, and I think when the first depth chart comes out, it's going to say or, like Raleek Brown or Hollywood Smothers. So both of these guys are going to get their opportunities here. But
he's also a guy, and BK, he's also a guy that if somebody gets hot, they're staying hot. Somebody, that whole series and all that stuff. Some guy who's on his way to having a 250-yard rushing day is not going to get sat on a bench for a series. That dude's about to be breaking records that day.
Yeah, I think so too. Like 2 years ago, Trey Wisner went over 1,000 yards and Jaden Blue was in the 700s. I think it'll be something like that, where one guy just emerges as the more trusted guy, the better guy, and that's the guy who gets the bulk of the carries. But the other player still is in every game and getting 10-plus touches per contest. But I think one guy's going to go hopefully over like 11 or 1,200, and then your other guy is going in the 700 to 800-yard range. So I will also sell, but I'd be very happy if that is a buy because that means
would be awesome if both those dudes had 1,000 yards rushing.
I'll take 900, but yes, 1,000 even better. Even
That's
better.
a lot of wins. That's a lot of wins. You're controlling football. You control a lot of football games if that happens.
100%. And you're probably playing a lot of extra football
Yeah.
games too if you're able to get those stats. So number 3, remember last year, Colin Simmons was talking a big game in the offseason, and he was talking about breaking Kiki Diala's single season record for most sacks in a year. That's 22.5. No one is touching that. And Colin Simmons didn't come close last year. I don't think that record is ever going to be broken by anybody unless all of a sudden you start playing 20-game seasons in this sport. Which who knows? Maybe we'll have a 130-team playoff in a couple of years, so that could be possible. So I'm not asking about breaking the record, Buck, but second place. There's 3 guys tied for second for most sacks in a season. It's Tim Campbell, Bill Acker, and Ken McCune, who all have 14 sacks. So buy or sell, Colin Simmons will at least tie for second place in most sacks in a single season. For reference, last year he had 12 in 13 games.
I am selling because I'm saying he's staying the exact same at 12. People are going to be paying an awful lot of attention to him. It's what the other dude on the other side is going to have to do. Teams are going to go and they're going to say, I'm not going to let that guy wreck my game plan. Sorry. No matter what we have to do, can't be singled up with this cat. So it's if he's singled up a lot, but that guy can wreck your whole game plan on offense. So I'm going to say he'll be the same at a dozen.
All right, I'm going to buy this one. I'm a huge believer in Colin Simmons, and you're right. I mean, he's going to attract a lot of attention from opposing offensive lines and offensive coordinators, but he did that last year, and he still was able to be very productive. But an interesting thing to remember, Colin Simmons got off to a horrible start last year.
Yes, he did. You're right.
Like through the first month of the year, he had more penalties than sacks. He was really bad against Ohio State, had a bad offsides penalty that kept the drive alive, and then just wasn't very productive against like San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, those stat padding games or stat games, as you always say. He didn't really do anything in those. So I expect Colin Simmons to get off to a better start. I also expect Texas to be playing more games, as I've mentioned multiple times, and it's not going to be easy. And yeah, it would really behoove him if the guy on the opposite side of the defensive line is able to steal some of the spotlight away from him. But I think that will happen. And I think Will Muschamp's going to find a way to unleash Colin Simmons and find ways to make him productive, even though other teams are trying to slow him down. I'm gonna buy this one. I'm gonna say it's a 14 sack season or better for number 1 Colin Simmons, and he ends up being a very, very high draft pick next April.
It's a good call.
Here's the big one, Buck. Maybe I should have started with this one because you and I could go down the rabbit hole of all rabbit holes here. We usually do when we talk about this subject matter. How about the P word?
Oh, boy.
Buy or sell. Texas finishes the season 50th or better in penalties. Remember, last year they were 132nd in penalties, 135th in penalties per game, but 132nd in total penalties. And in both 2023 and 2024, the Longhorns ranked 73rd in total penalties. So the last 3 years, they have not been a top 50 team in that category. I don't think we're asking for a lot, but buy or sell top 50, Buck.
I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy. I'm going to believe that all the moves that this head coach is making to make himself more involved with the offense and the team itself is going to produce less penalties. He's going to be paying a lot more attention. And, you know, he's somebody has talked to him about that, at least, because he's mentioned it himself, which he would never do. That would just be one of those, oh, we just play game by game. If we win, we win. We don't care if we have 10 penalties. I think he's going to be paying a little bit more attention. I'm hoping that the buy is good here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're not in the top 50. You know, if they're like, some people would say, hell, if they're 70 or 60, that's a pretty good jump. But in order to get to where we're thinking they're going to get to, I got to buy in that top 50.
Can you put this one on layaway or something?
Yeah, that's the one I'd love to put on layaway. And can you talk to me after game 4 or 5?
Man, we're not asking for much. Top 50.
You got to buy it, though. In order for them to win, we think that if we're calling this championship or bust or championship game or bust, then you have to buy, because there's no way they can do what they're doing and think they're going to be in a game. There's too many better disciplined teams. Maybe not too many better teams that have better talent, but those are the ones that are winning those kind of games, championship types of games or playoff types of games.
The last 5 national champions have all been top 40 in penalties. Wow. So that's sort of the bar that you're looking for if you're Texas. I mean, Indiana was number 2 in the country last season. They were about as good as you could possibly be. I do like that Steve Sarkisian has talked about extra work that he and his coaching staff and the strength and conditioning staff have put in to get rid of the penalty problems. It's clear that that is a point of emphasis this offseason and has been since the very beginning of this offseason. And I'm hoping the extra attention that they've paid to that will pay dividends. I'm selling. I can't buy. I just cannot buy. And that's my UTSD kicking in. And I still think Texas is a championship contender. And look, maybe they can buck the trend and be outside the top 40 and still find a way to win a national title. I think there's that much talent on this squad to where that is possible. But I cannot buy, as much as I would love to, that this will be a top 50 disciplined team in the sport this season. I just can't.
They're going to cross that street, aren't they? They're just going to keep crossing that street somehow, some way.
As Sean Miller says, he's going to take the blame because he's the parent.
Yes.
But damn it, how many times I would love to get – well, I hope we don't get that kind of rant from Sark. Maybe I should say that, because we got that rant from Sean Miller because his guys weren't disciplined. All they were doing was fouling over and over again. So I don't want to hear that from Sark, but if there are penalty problems, I would love to get an epic soundbite for the future of this show, the way Sean Miller gave us one last season of basketball. All right. So I am selling. You are buying. Everybody hopes I'm wrong and you're right.
Let me just say this. Muschamp on the sideline will be furious when his guys jump off sides on a third and 4 or 3rd and 3, and they just give him a first down. That guy is going to drag that person. That same person is not going to be in the game for the next play. He is going to drag that guy off the field, and he's going to be waiting 5 yards over the end line, just waiting for that guy to come off the field. There won't be anybody just walking around, sorry about that. Sorry, guys, my bad. That stuff is not going to go with that dude.
And dragging him by the face mask or grabbing the ear hole on the helmet and just pulling him over to the sideline. Sure. Is that accepted in 2026?
Oh, that's acceptable. It's going to be even more acceptable if the head coach is dog cussing a guy coming off the field and not being one of those, hey, pat you on the back, hey, next time, you'll be okay next time. If he's out there with his finger in his face and letting him know, that's what I'm going to know that Sark is serious about this deal.
We want more dog cussing this year.
You gotta have that. Guys need to be dog cussed for that. That's stupid. Or make a guy after your second one. Hey, by the time you come back on this field next week, you got to have a new tattoo that's where everybody can see it on your forearm that says, I'm a dope. Seriously, you got to get tattooed. Like, then next week, if you got another one on the other arm, I'm even dumber.
That is great. There were a number of guys last year who probably earned those tattoos.
Oh, my goodness. That doggone guy on special teams, they don't have any body parts left for the ones that he would have had. He would have them all over his neck.
Oh, that is so good. All right. Continuing here. Buy or sell for Texas football in 2026. Well, you brought up Will Muschamp. Let's stay with the defense. This is a tough one, Buck. Buy or sell. The Longhorn defense finishes top 10 in the country in scoring defense. For context, Texas was 20th last year. It was a bit of a step back, but they were still top 20 in 2025. In 2024, the Longhorns were number 2 in the nation in scoring defense. In 2023, the Longhorns were 12th in scoring defense. So only one time in the last 3 years, they have been top 10. For more reference, 10th in the country in points per game allowed last season, gave up 17.6 points per game. So that's kind of the ballpark number that Texas would need to be below if they are going to be a top 10-ish defense. Are you buying or are you selling?
I'm buying because we know Oklahoma won't score anything. They may get a field goal. So there's one. We know what the
Yeah.
Aggies will do at the end of the season. There's another 10 points. So I'm buying. I'm buying they'll be in the top 10.
I'm
I
gonna
know that's
sell.
tough. That's tough right
Yeah,
there. First
I'm gonna
time
sell.
guy, being the defensive coordinator here.
I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell. And it's not because I don't think this defense is loaded with talent. It's not because I don't believe in Will Muschamp. It's just because the schedule is too difficult to have me feeling good
Going
about
against
a
some pretty
top.
good quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got Ohio State with Julian Sayin, Heisman finalist in week 2. You got Jeremiah Smith, who might be the most talented player in the entire sport. They're loaded with talent. You've got to play them. Tennessee, Josh Heupel's a really good offensive coach. I know they've got a new quarterback that they'll be breaking in, but they always score. I mean, that's a group
Ole
that put up 40 against Georgia in a loss last year. Yeah, Ole Miss with Tobago Chambliss and Kawan Lacey. They're really good. I mean, LSU's got a ton of talent on offense. OU, it'd be awesome to keep them out of the end zone for a third straight year, but like they've got talent on that. It just goes back to the schedule conversation where I just think there are too many teams that the Longhorns have to go up against to have the ability to put up points for me to make this bold of a prediction that the Longhorns can finish top 10. I'd like to think they'd be close. I'd like to think they're right around there, but man, 17 points. The hope is this offense scores enough to where Texas doesn't need to be around 17 points per game allowed.
Sure.
That's a little too low of a number for what I think is realistic for.
Would you buy if it was at 21 was that number? Size 17, 21?
Yeah, look, last year they were 20th in the country. I know you're asking me about points per game, but like I would think Texas can be a top 20 scoring defense in the country again. And I do think they could be around the 20, 21 point category, which would have them in that ballpark. So yeah, it's just, again, too many talented quarterbacks, too many talented weapons. Texas did lose some key pieces on its defense last year. And again, I love Will Muschamp, but like it is still a first year.
Yeah, what are we going to get out of the real secondary with the safety stuff going on? What will we get from that position? Yeah,
that's a great question. That's one of the biggest position battles to pay attention to in camp. We know Jelani McDonald's one starting safety, but who's the other starting safety? Is it Derek Williams? Is it Kobe Black? Could it be Jonah Williams? They've got talent, but you know, you're replacing Michael Taff, who we all know how valuable he was on the back end of that defense. And again, Manny Muhammad at corner. Texas is better at corner, I think, than they are at safety, but Manny Muhammad was really, really good, and he's no longer with us, if you will. Okay, so we move on. That was your defense points per game question. How about the offense, Buck? This is something you and I have touched on a couple of times throughout the offseason. Buy or sell, the Longhorns average 40 points per game this season.
Oh, my number was 38. So now I guess I'm going to have to sell.
Okay, so here's your context. Texas has yet to reach 40 points per game in the Steve Sarkisian era. The last time they got there was 2020, ironically enough, the final year of the Tom Herman era. That was the COVID season. Texas only played 10 games, but they averaged about 43 points in those 10 games. Last year, only 5 teams in the country achieved that mark. None of them were in the SEC. In 2024, only 2 teams hit 40 points per game, and neither of them were in the SEC. So it is not easy to do at all, and that probably makes you feel better about your selling decision.
Yeah, and 38's good. That 38 is up from, what were they, 35?
Last year they were at like 31.
Oh, yeah. Okay, then 38. Another touchdown's a big deal. Yes.
I think the best they've been in the Sark era was 2023 when they were about 36 points per game.
Yeah, 38 is going to be my number I'll stick with,
Yeah, I'm going to sell this one too, and part of it has to do with the schedule. I do think if there's any SEC team that can get to that number for the first time in 3 years, it would be Texas. Like I think this offense has more talent than any other offense in the conference, but again, it's the same conversation. You got to go up against elite defenses often this year. And even though I expect Arch to take a step, this running game's better. You got Cam Coleman in here. I'm thinking upper 30s as well. I would sign for 38 right now with your prediction. I think that'd be a fantastic season, and that would have Texas as very likely a top, 6 to 7 scoring offense in college football. But as
And
much as I love
of course, I've said who the guy will make the difference is. It's not the running backs; it's the other wide receiver.
yeah. Well, it's all of them. I mean, really, the offensive line is the group that's going to make the difference.
True.
Because the skill position talent, there's enough there to get to 40. And I always have to remind people, people compare this era of college football to last decade. Remember, they changed the clock rules to where they don't stop the clock after every single first down like they used to. So it's a lot harder to get to 40 points per game for any team nowadays than it used to be. And that's why, again, you've only seen 7 teams total the last 2 seasons get there. I think it's a little too high of a number for Texas this season.
Yeah,
So
Wingo makes a difference for me to get to 38. If he's just a little bit, if he's consistent, I think that changes everything.
I don't disagree with you there.
But you're right about the offensive line has to be able to hold out long enough so that the guy can, at least the ball can get to him.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you this one. I already know your answer here, but I'll give you another chance to reiterate or perhaps change your mind. Buy or sell, Texas finally beats Ohio State.
I'm buying all the way.
That's your biggest bet. That's your take out a second mortgage bet on this, huh?
Yeah, this is 10 or more point win. This is not one of those dogfight, just barely win on a field goal. This is a legitimate win over the Big Ten. I believe this is a 10-point or more win.
Wow, 10-point or more. So are you thinking maybe Texas is up by 3 and they've got the ball and they put it out of reach with a late touchdown? Or are you saying Texas will be in control for the majority of the 60 minutes?
I think they'll be in control for the majority. I think they'll come out fast. And I think Ohio State will be trying to play catch up in the fourth quarter. And they just won't. They'll struggle trying to do that. They'll try to push the ball down the field. The quarterback will get sacked a few times. Texas will get the ball in great field position. And the head coach won't be trying to run the clock out. He'll be trying to put more points on the board.
Okay.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Sounds great. You kidding me?
Yeah, this is one of those that you're up, you maybe be up 10 points, BK, and you get a nice turnover, and you're not trying to run clock and say, okay, we're not giving them an opportunity to come back. We're gonna let the clock run. No, your opportunity is to score more points, and that's what I think he'll do.
A win by 1 counts the same as a win by 101.
I know. I got it. I know.
Now, we'll see what the final line is. Maybe for some cousins out there, it ain't the same. Because right now, I think it's at Texas minus 1.5. So there's a lot of folks out there who would not be real thrilled with a 1-point margin of victory here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I picked Texas.
I'm going 10 or more. 10 or more.
I keep saying I picked Texas to beat Ohio State the last 2 years, and they haven't done it. So I feel like I have to.
You're
pick
not allowed
Ohio
to pick
State.
that. You're not allowed to make that pick.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pick the Buckeyes. So I'll sell that Texas finally beats Ohio State because I don't want to get blamed for this happening 3 times. I know how our listeners are. I know how you people are out there. All right, and then last but not least, as we conclude our buy or sell segment for Texas football this season. Buy or sell, 5 Longhorns end up getting selected in the first round of the 2027 NFL draft. You got some of the names that are popping up the most in mock drafts. Obviously, Arch Manning.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Trevor Gooseby. You've got Colin Simmons. You've got Cam Coleman. Those are the 4 sort of consensus first-round guys right now. Subject to change, obviously. But the buy or sell is, can Texas find a 5th player who ends up hearing their name called on the Thursday, night 1 of next April's draft?
No, I think that's just the right number right there. For that, I'm selling on that. I'll take the 4 and be happy with that. And if they've got a bunch of early second round picks, that's fine with me.
Okay. Yeah, that's I guess we're putting an over-under at 4.5 for first round picks for Texas this year. Yeah, boy, you think about those 4 names that I mentioned, not just first round picks, all those guys could go in the top half of the first round.
Yeah, and that's that means you've got a really good team if that happens. You get
Oh,
those guys, that means your team is good. You shouldn't be losing to teams that you shouldn't be losing to. You shouldn't be messing around with the Floridas of the world. You should be stomping them. You should be going on the road to Tennessee and just flat out beating them. That's what I believe. That's enough right there. Those legitimate players that you're talking about, if they're first round picks in the top 15, yeah, you should be winning a bunch of games.
yeah, oh, absolutely. That's why, you feel like this is such an important season for Texas, because you 4 first-round picks in the year is never guaranteed, and you might have the first quarterback off the board. You might have the first offensive lineman off the board. You might have the first edge rusher off the board. With Jeremiah Smith, I don't think Cam Coleman would be the first wide receiver off the board, even if
he should be maybe the second or third, that's for sure.
Yeah, but he could be a top 3 receiver off the board this year. So rosters like this don't come around that often, especially when all of these guys are going into draft eligible seasons. So that obviously ups the ante for expectations for Texas this fall.
I think BK, the only other one that I see that could be potentially is if he's big enough is the linebacker that came from Pittsburgh. If he has an unbelievable year and he can get to the ball, I mean, NFL teams, they don't look at you, the Eagles and teams like Seattle, they look at what you do on the field, tackles. I know they project, I wish he was a little bit bigger, but when a guy's making a lot of tackles, making a lot of interceptions, and doesn't have to come off the field at the linebacker positions, NFL teams love that dude.
Yeah, I think there are 4 names that are in the maybe category for Texas. Like, with a great year, they could maybe end up going in round 1. And Raheem Biles, who you've just been talking about, he's definitely one on that list. Problem for him is off-ball linebackers just aren't valuable in the NFL. Like, they don't go that high. So, I mean, we saw Anthony Hill fall all the way to the back end of the second round, and we know how good that dude was at Texas.
And he had interceptions. He made great plays.
Right. And he proved it at a high level in the SEC for a couple of seasons and was great at Texas for 3 seasons. And he was bigger. He's got more like NFL size at linebacker than Raheem Biles does. So that could be tough for Raheem. Same kind of conversation for Jelani McDonald. Like, I think Jelani McDonald is a really good safety, and he could end up being one of the top safeties in this class, but safeties don't go that high in the draft. Hero Kanu at defensive tackle, that's a more premium position. He's not there right now, but a guy who could have gone pro this past year and would have been drafted somewhere, probably day 3. But if he has a really, really disruptive season, we've seen Texas have defensive tackles go high in the draft in recent years. And then Ryan Wingo would be the other name I'd throw in there.
Yeah.
Like, could Texas have 2 first-round wide receivers next April? I don't think it's outlandish. Wingo, a former 5-star, NFL people have been paying attention to him for a while. He's fast as hell. He can break tackles. He is explosive. There's a lot that can translate to Sunday, but obviously he's got to be way more consistent for that to be a realistic conversation. But I don't think it's too far-fetched.
What about if the right tackle is outstanding on that side of
maybe?
There's a possibility, right?
Yeah, Melvin Siani could be there. Bo Masco, your Rutgers cornerback. Like,
that's
again,
true.
these guys, I'd probably put both of them in a tier slightly below, but tackles and corners, they get drafted pretty high. And if those dudes, people are going to be watching Texas this year, and if those guys hold their own against the players that they're going to have to go up against every weekend, then
you're right.
That's why I'm buying. I think somebody, it's not going to be all of those guys, but somebody of that list of names, or perhaps somebody we didn't mention, ends up doing enough to go in round 1.
Brown at running back is probably, he's the closest in that second round. He can, they'll take a running back. He's got all the explosiveness that we think he has and can do some special things and come out of the backfield. I know he's not like Gibbs, but if he's close to that, he could go the middle of the second round. They don't generally mess with the running backs then, but they took Gibbs and everybody thought, what a mistake you were making. And that wasn't a mistake. That's for damn sure.
Well, Jahmyr Gibbs was a totally different beast. I mean, and we're talking about a guy who went 12th overall. I don't know. Raleek Brown is small. He's, I think, listed at 5'9", 193. So that might work against him. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't much bigger than that coming
No,
out of college. So, but yeah, I don't think there's anything Raleek Brown or Hollywood Smothers can do to be first round
no,
pick.
I don't know.
But second round, yeah, I feel like that's the ceiling. I feel like that's best case scenario for either of those guys. And
True.
whichever one of them steps up, if they do go over 1,000 yards, then they could end up going on day 2. And
Not many Gibbs around. That guy was special.
yeah, I mean, Bijan and Gibbs going in the top 12 in the same draft, and those might be your 2 best running backs in the NFL right now. Like that, you don't have classes like that very
No.
often. And yeah, I don't think Raleek Brown or Hollywood Smothers is on that level, unfortunately. Would be great if I'm wrong. All right, we'll take your thoughts. The Dakota text line, 512-222-9328. We'll dive back into the sports conversation, more NFL to get into. We can get into a little sound from Arch Manning and Colin Simmons as well from SEC Media Days. But before we go any further, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
Shout out to Jane the Gang over there at, of course, at St. Patrick since 1975. The incredible selection of Longhorn apparel, of course, collectibles, accessory, tons of hats, Texas themed items, gifts, books, luggage, wide variety of men's and women's clothing in all sizes. And St. Patrick offers free shipping on online orders of $59 or more. Free curbside pickup, plenty of parking spaces at 5222 Burnett Road. They've replenished their Jellycat stock, so that awaits you. As I said, sneakers are available for you. But the hats, baby, the hats, the T-shirts, they're all there. And if you're getting that gear and you're leaving town for a little vacation, you got to have your Longhorn gear on the road, and they have it at St. Patrick. 50 years of service in Central Texas. StPatrick.com is where you go for more information.
Yes, indeed. Love our friends at St. Patrick. Get you those schedule shirts right now.
Yeah, man, the schedule shirts out. Schedule classes are on their way. Just around the corner, folks.
Yes, indeed. St. Patrick, love them. Also love CentexTickets.com. You're going to be getting your gear for the upcoming season at St. Patrick, but you need your tickets, to go to these games. Centex Tickets, the place to go to find your tickets for any Longhorn football game, home, away, neutral. It does not matter. They already have tickets online. You don't have to wait until September rolls around to start buying your tickets. You can get some right now at CentexTickets.com. And of course, it's not just Longhorn football. They'll have volleyball tickets. They'll have men's and women's basketball. They'll have softball. They'll have baseball. Any sporting event you want to go to on the 40 acres. And it's not just college sports. It's pro sports. It's concerts. It's comedy shows. It's festivals. Y'all know the deal. Y'all hear us talk about Centex tickets all the time. If you want to go to an event, the hard part isn't figuring out what you want to go to. The hard part's actually getting tickets. Centex tickets, 100% authentic. No scammers, no spammers. You don't have to worry about getting duped here. And you're also going to get 10% off every purchase. All you have to do is type in the code CENTEX10 at checkout. You'll get 10% off any purchase, whether you're buying 1, whether you're buying 10. It does not matter. Shout out to our great friends at CentexTickets.com.
And folks, if you need orthopedic care and specialized patient-focused orthopedic care, our good friends over at Texas Orthopedics await you. Spinal care, sports medicine, joint replacement, rehabilitation, and more. They have dedicated surgeons there, and their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve and that you want. Texas Orthopedics is the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas. For more information, go to txortho.com. And do remember, rehabilitation. Not everything is about surgery. They have rehab centers there at Texas Orthopedics. So go to txortho.com for more information.
For sure. And also, McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com is where you go if you want more information about building your dream home or turning your current home into your dream home. McCall Custom Homes, custom home builders and remodelers here in Central Texas. And they've been doing it for a long time, and they're the very best at what they do. Don't just take our word for it. I mean, we trust them with our places, but also we're not alone. They're A+ rated by the BBB. Tons of 5-star reviews and testimonials online. Just Google them, as Kurt Signetti would say. And again, they're the best at what they do. So if you've got ideas, they've got free estimates for Bucky and BK listeners. Mike McCall will come out to your place. You'll tell him what you want to do. He'll tell you what he and his team can do. And then boom, you can turn those dreams into reality. Call or text Mike directly, 512-633-9580. Great guy, big Longhorn fan, tunes in pretty much every single day. And again, this is an important call. Get your dreams started today. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com. All right, Buck, you want to go NFL here? You want to go sound from Arch Manning and Colin Simmons here? Where to next?
Let's go to Arch and Colin Simmons.
All right, so we've got some slightly delayed audio from QB1 and Edge 1 from SEC Media Days last week in Tampa. We'll start with Arch Manning. He was asked a number of different questions at his breakout session in Tampa last Thursday, but we'll start with this one. What did you learn from last year, your first year as the Longhorns starting quarterback?
Yeah, I learned a lot. Obviously, gaining those game experiences was really good for me. Obviously, that was a rough game, so learning from it and moving on and motivating it for me for this year.
Yeah, the more games you play in, the more experience you get, good or bad. So he just had to have that happen to him, whether it was good or bad. Lot of good. People are looking at some of the bad stuff because their expectations of him were so high, and they had reason to be. But for the most part, that guy was pretty daggum good for what was around him.
Yeah, that game Arch was referencing, by the way, was the Ohio State game last season, which was very, very bad. It was pretty bad for everybody, but Arch will be the first to tell you that he was nowhere near good enough for the Longhorns to win that game in the shoe. And yeah, look, experience helps. It's important. He was a first-year starter last year. Even though his last name is Manning, even though he's the 5-star, even though the hype train was what it was, you still have to have some questions about how it's going to look when a guy becomes the guy. I don't care how long he's been on your team. I don't care if he knows the offense. It's just different when you are the starting quarterback, and it's even more different when you're the starting quarterback at a place like Texas, and it's most different when your last name is Manning. So, yeah, he wasn't ready for the moment last year, but he showed with how he progressed over the course of the 2025 season that he knows what he's doing, that he's more than capable of playing football at this level. And yeah, I think, the experiences, like you said, good and bad, are going to help him tremendously here in his second season as the starter. And look, he doesn't have that excuse. He knows it, and I don't expect him to need it, but there's not going to be like, he's young, he's immature, this is new to it. He's going to be expected to hit the ground running. But again, because of what he went through a season ago, I don't have any doubts that he will be.
And the success he had at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, it's not like it's he was bad all year and it's like, well, it's year 2. It's got to be better, right? It's like, no, we saw it get better. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the country over the last 5 games. He was 7-1 over his last 8 games with 20 touchdowns and just 2 turnovers. Like the numbers, the eye test, it all looked better. And part of that was the guys around him got better, which the guys around him this year are even better than the guys who were around him towards the end of last season. But he also just looked more comfortable, more in command. And you started to see that dual threat ability that makes him what I think one of the toughest players in college football to slow down. And hell, you said he's got some Vince Young traits in terms of like he instills fear in a defense because they don't know what he's going to do on any given play. Like it's not just, it's got to be better. It can't get worse. It's like, no, we saw it be really, really good last season. So
I believe you'll see even more. You're going to see even more of that kind of stuff where he can take it upon himself. This is what I'm going to do. I know what you think I should have done, but I'm going to be successful at the way I do it. I mean, there's going to be a little bit more of him doing stuff outside the box, where his head coach is going to say, well, did you see that? And then, but it's going to be hard for the coach to say those things because he's going to have success. And when he does it his way every once in a while now, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good thing. I mean, that's a good thing. That's what great quarterbacks are all about. They do stuff outside of the box than what they're always taught to do.
Oh, man. I mean, that's what makes you a great quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Like you think of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Like those guys are so great in large part because of how they improvise.
Absolutely.
Like when a play breaks down, if there's a free rusher unaccounted for, if the O-line just misses a block, if a receiver screws up, those guys just extend and they don't just scramble to run. They scramble, they keep their eyes up, they look for something down the field, they try to find something, and then if it's not there, they take off and go. Yeah, there are plenty of guys with arm talent. Now, there aren't plenty of guys with the arm talent of Mahomes or Josh Allen. I understand that, but like the ability to, again, make things happen when the play breaks down, when what was called is not exactly perfect for you, that is what turns the great ones into the elite ones.
Yeah, I think he'll show you why he'll be the number one player taken in the draft. I mean, NFL scouts, talent, people around the NFL, people just around football will, he will show you why he'll be the first guy taken off the board.
Yeah. Oh, I hope you're right, unless the Browns have the first pick.
They may have it, or the Jets.
I'd rather him in the Jets than on the Jets than on the Browns.
For sure.
But how about door number 3, please?
Anybody. Arizona.
Pretty much anybody. Yeah, Arizona ain't much, but they've had some success, I guess, and he'd be playing inside, so that'd be nice for him. Here's more from Arch Manning, by the way, kind of along those lines. He was asked the biggest differences with him, both mentally and physically, at this time this year compared to where he was at this time last year.
Yeah, I think I've become more present. I've obviously matured. I think going through those rough times, learned a lot about myself, and I've become a better man because of it, and hopefully a better player. I don't want to repeat that game.
Yeah, I don't want to do the same thing there for sure.
So I think I can't remember if he was talking about Ohio State or Florida there, but
It
either way,
sounds like he was talking about either one of those games.
yeah, either way, the hope is to not repeat that game. But again, it just goes to the same point that you were making, that the experience is going to help him this year. And I mean, he's more confident. He was at media days last year, and he's Arch. He's so well trained with this stuff. He's not going to say anything stupid or get himself in trouble. So it's not like he was totally in over his skis last year, but you could tell there's a different calmness because of what he's been through. Again, obviously second media days, but because more importantly, he played in all those games in 2025. I don't know. I think he feels very good. I think mentally he's in a great spot, and I think it's going to be a special season for him.
Yeah, I think his ability now to do things that he understands he can do, not so much what the coach thinks he can do or how he's coached him up to be this great quarterback, quarterback whisperer, Sark. I think the player now can take a lot more on himself now about what he does offensively and about the team.
Yeah, and you wonder how much more authority Arch Manning is going to have in terms of changing plays at the line of scrimmage, right? Or, going off script a little bit. I feel like Steve Sarkisian trusts Arch Manning. I mean, Sark earlier this offseason, remember Arch had offseason surgery, wasn't doing a whole lot in the spring. Steve Sarkisian himself compared Arch Manning to like a very veteran NFL quarterback who doesn't need OTAs. It's like he knows the offense. He knows what he's supposed to do. Like, he doesn't need to be doing this stuff right now. That was sort of the explanation of like why he's resting Arch Manning and not rushing him back from the injuries. Of course, you don't want him to re-aggravate anything, but like, the guy's fine. He doesn't need the extra reps. He already knows everything that there is to know. So I think the trust level between coach and quarterback, and you could argue it's been there since high school. That's why Arch picked Texas and Sark in the first place. But I think both of those guys are so in unison with each other that they can almost finish each other's sentences, and that's where they're at right now. So I think Sark's it's his offense, of course. He calls the plays, but he'll trust Arch to make some changes if he's seeing something on the field that Sark can't see from the side.
Absolutely. And he'll have more say in meetings, quarterback meetings and things like that, what he feels comfortable with, what he thinks will work against a particular team, and what plays to call. He'll have, generally when you're the first time at that position, when you're the head, the starter, you don't get a lot of this. Hey, coach, I think we can do this. Coaches generally tell you to just shut up, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. So I think you'll see that'll be a little bit different now in his second year. It'll be like, this is what I think we can do against this particular defense, against Ohio State or anybody else. He's going to have a lot of say in what they do offensively.
Right. And that's a pretty normal, typical thing, right? Just the longer
for sure.
Yeah. One more here from Arch Manning. He was asked about Cam Coleman. Obviously, the number one non-quarterback in the transfer portal, the number one wide receiver in the transfer portal. We talked ad nauseum about Cam Coleman, as has every other Longhorn fan in the world. Here was Arch Manning talking about Cam Coleman, both as a player, but also as a teammate, too.
He's a great teammate. He works really hard. The good thing about Cam and how we built our relationship is he always wants to throw. He always wants to meet extra. And I think anytime you get a guy like that, it's easier for me to become close with. And he's also a good guy. He can joke and we can go eat. and I'm excited to have him on my team. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Coleman seems like, I mean, he's a mature guy who's, this is it for him. He's already been around the block. He understands how to play the game, whether it's on the field or off the field. He knows what his teammates are expecting of him and the kind of behavior they're expecting of him. And yeah, he's going to do all those extra things because that guy wants to be drafted highly. That's why he came here. That's why he chose this particular offense to come to. He didn't come here for just the money. This wasn't about the money. This is about what he can do for his future.
He's making some money, but reports are he did not take the highest bid. And clearly his future and being a part of a good offense with a competent coach and quarterback for the first time in his college career, those were things that were really important for Cam Coleman. And how about the catch? I mean, Arch Manning might as well have said, we've been playing catchy catch all the time this summer. Cam Coleman is your biggest.
That's how you get to know a guy. You got to play a lot of catchy catch. You got to go out there when it's 100 degrees and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't, somebody's got something at 7 o'clock, but you know what you're doing? Well, then we'll go at 3. Oh, but it's no, we're going at 3. That's when we're going to do it. Yeah, that's the old catchy catch.
I feel like it's usually the quarterback who is suggesting that, but it sounds like Cam Coleman often was the guy like, hey, let's go throw. Let's go work on some things.
Yeah, I mean, this is those guys understand this is your time off too. Because once it starts, it doesn't stop till February it doesn't stop till the draft for those guys. They understand, their time in the summertime, there's some other things that you'd like to be doing. And if you're spending your time playing catchy catch, that's important.
Yeah. And that's the one thing. There's more than one thing. But again, we talked about Arch Manning being super experienced and not really needing the spring. But Arch Manning, he doesn't have that chemistry and rapport with Cam Coleman. Like, obviously, Ryan Wingo, he does. Emmett Mosley, you think about the other wide receivers that were on the 2025 squad. And Arch has had plenty of reps with those dudes. But Cam Coleman, who's expected to be the number one wideout on this team, again, Arch was throwing in the spring. It's not like he was doing anything. He just wasn't doing a lot of the team drill stuff. And obviously we didn't see him much for that fan day open practice. But yeah, those guys didn't get as much work in as they typically would have gotten if Arch was 100% healthy. So I like hearing that both of them are finding time to get that work in to make sure, not just by week 1, but by like fall camp, it's, we're good and there are no kinks that we have to work through here.
Yeah, the timing is good. When the guy's got a guy beat, how far you can throw the ball, can't overthrow him, you can't underthrow him. I mean, those are the things you get worked out before the season even starts. That's summertime catchy catch.
How about Arch Manning saying he's a good guy, he can joke, and we can eat? Some guys he won't eat with?
No, son, somebody's just always hungry. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird guys, and you don't need to have a meal with everybody all the time, right?
No,
doesn't mean you don't like the guy. You just don't need to eat.
You don't
with
need guys running around with big 6'4" posters running around asking you for your autograph.
Yeah, what's the status of you getting another Arch Manning cardboard cutout? You had one. You worked really hard.
I think more of me and less of him is a good thing.
I don't know, man. I think the people they've had you for a long time.
Teeth are all good, ready to go. Starting to grow a little hair back. Thinking about going with no, I'm not thinking about that. That's never.
You going like the Einstein look with just hair coming out the side of your head?
I'm not doing that. I don't know. I just haven't stuck the razor on this bald head. Just keep sticking a hat on it. No, if someone were to put one in and they don't mind me cutting his head part out, I'd do it.
Can you still grow hair, you think? Quick sidebar.
I don't think so. What are those pills guys are taking? What's that stuff called? What's the newest that you can grow hair with?
Oh, now you can get like a full-on hair transplant.
I'm not doing it. No. I'm getting too many other things taken out and transplanted. I'm not paying for that stuff. I may pay for some Hims or her pills or whatever those.
Oh yeah, they've got pills and creams and sprays that you can put on too.
Spray on hair. Now you're talking.
I don't know if it's spray on hair. Like, what about a tube? Maybe you show up to some pregame shows with a tube this year.
I can't do it. I can't. No, I went through a lot to start shaving my head and making my long head look okay. So I'm good with that. I'm just going to be a bald dude. It's all right.
No wigs.
No, but you know what? I have darkened up though. I have got, being outside doing some stuff. This heat is putting some darkness on me.
Oh, you're getting tan, huh? Your people can get tan. Is that what you're
yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good. I like that.
Count Blackula here is darkening up this summer.
Count Blackula. No longer scared of the sun.
Oh,
I
no,
like it.
Yeah, but I'm being very careful about the sun. I still don't put on any sunscreen playing golf, and I know I get slapped around about that. Doctors don't like to hear me say that, but I have enough pigmentation that I just can't do it, BK. I know you have to do it, or you just will burn up even with a hat on. I've been doing it for a long time, and I've not had any problems. But there is skin cancer out there, and it doesn't take much to get it. So I wear a hat. I don't go out there just bald ass head walking around. I don't do that. I wear, sometimes I'll wear long sleeve. I wear long pants every once in a while, even in the heat. But I'm not good with suntan oil. It just weirds me out. It makes me sweat like a dog.
You don't need to be putting. Don't put like baby oil on you.
No, I don't do that. I'm not trying to cook. It's just natural emollients.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'll get you some sunscreen. That's important for you, and get you an Arch Manning cardboard cutout. Those are the two important things that
doctors would like for me to say to tell young people that I'm still using those, stuff, sunscreen, FV Vision 37 or whatever. I'm sorry, Doc. I don't do it. I'd be lying if I said I put it on.
I'd be lying if I said I knew what FP Vision 37 was. What in the hell is that?
What is it that you put on? 40-40? 60-40?
Talking about like the SPF number?
Yeah, what is that? What number are you at now?
I should be at like 5,000, but I don't think they make it that high. Whatever the highest they offer is the one that I need. But
you look a little tanned.
Yeah, I think it's a different camera and different computer setup that I've got that's making me look.
Yeah, you got that white background. And you got that dark screen behind you. You're looking a little darker now because of that dark screen you got.
Just trying to be like you, man.
Yeah, I'm all darkness now.
Count Blackula.
Yes.
I love it. That is fantastic. All right, well, more sound here. We'll go to the defensive side of the football and talk about Colin Simmons right now. Of course, Colin Simmons had SEC Media Days last week in Tampa. For my money, the best defensive player in college football. I think without a doubt, the best defensive player on the Texas Longhorns in 2026. Look, he's been great. 9 sacks as a freshman, 12 as a sophomore, led the SEC in 2025. But he was asked if he can find another level here in 2026.
Yes, sir. Muschamp definitely broaden all of our mindset, when it comes to defense, when it comes to the play style that we play, the aggressiveness, how he carry himself, and how he come about the game of football. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy to be a part of this defense, and I'm happy to be coached under him.
Wow, he's going to be even more aggressive. That's not good news for if you're an offensive tackle or a running back that's got to help out somebody. That's not fun.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like we've heard Will Muschamp at times this offseason talk about utilizing Colin Simmons in multiple ways, right? Not just being a traditional
inside and outside.
Exactly. Not just being a traditional edge rusher on every snap. Maybe you shift him inside sometimes. Maybe you move him off the ball a little bit and have him blitzing as a more traditional linebacker. Just trying to find. Look, Colin Simmons is good enough to win one-on-one. He's proven that over the first 2 years of his college career. But again, we know opposing offenses, like they know who Colin Simmons is. So they're going to try to chip and leave extra blockers in and do whatever to prevent Colin Simmons from absolutely wrecking games. So it's on Will Muschamp to find other ways to, I guess, confuse opposing offensive coordinators. It's like, no. You think Colin Simmons is going to be here every play. Actually, no, he's over there on this play. So now what are you going to do? Muschamp's talked about that. I'm fascinated. You hear Colin Simmons clearly buying into whatever Will Muschamp's selling. And that's the next step in the evolution of Colin Simmons' already very, very impressive game, I think.
Yeah, he's a big-bodied guy. I mean, I can see him inside and on your weak link guard, if he's a weak link and you get that guy over the top of you blowing snot at you, that's not going to be fun. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the outside. You can have some guys that aren't very good at guard, and that guy's lined up over you shaded on the outside of you. That can't be fun.
No, I mean, he's a beast, and he's listed at 6'3", I believe, 246 pounds. But he's fast, he's twitchy, he's powerful enough to beat bigger offensive linemen. And yeah, I mean, it's just honing a couple of things. And we had this conversation with Arch Manning. We had it a little bit earlier with Colin Simmons. Like, can he get off to a better start this season? If he does, then he's got a chance to, win awards and be a very high draft pick next April. The talent is there. He's already proven a lot, 21 sacks in his first couple of seasons playing in the SEC. I cannot wait to see what he does for an encore. And
I'd be interested to see if he comes in the mid 250s.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think they've recently updated the heights and weights on the Texas roster. So I don't know when's the last time they measured him. Is it back in the spring and they just updated it, or did they do it at some point over the summer? I don't know, but maybe he does add a few more elbows. You want to see that, or don't want to see
that? I do. I mean, I think he's really good against the run too, but I'd like to see him be in the 250s somewhere.
And what's interesting about Colin Simmons is you look at, and everybody focuses on the sack numbers, but obviously there's much more to being an impactful edge rusher than just sacks. You look at his pass rush win rate, and it's what he did last year as a true sophomore is a lot higher than like a lot of NFL picks. Like Myles Garrett has been one of the best pass rushers for a long time, a future Hall of Famer in the NFL. Colin Simmons' pass rush win rate last year was actually higher than Myles Garrett's in his final season at Texas A&M. You look at Will Anderson Jr., one of the best defensive players in the game with the Houston Texans. Colin Simmons' pass rush win rate last year was higher than Will Anderson Jr.'s in his final season at Alabama. And there's a number of guys who are first-round picks in the NFL and guys who are, playing at a really, really high level who, again, that's just one stat and it's 1 year. I get it, but that's an important stat that kind of shows how disruptive an edge rusher can be. Colin Simmons is right there or better than some of the best this conference has seen in the last decade and change.
Yeah, I mean, when you get up there with Myles Garrett and Will Anderson, that's special.
Yeah, and to think that he's got another gear potentially to get to this season is exciting for Texas, and like you said earlier, very scary for other teams. Yeah. Here's more from Colin Simmons, kind of along the Will Muschamp conversation. He was asked about his relationship so far with the Longhorns' new defensive coordinator.
I came in his office. I came in his office probably first, second week. Sat there, we talked, chopped it up. Obviously I asked him, is there anything, more that I can do to, better myself or better the defense? And, he just told me just to be myself. Be myself, be you, go out there, have fun, don't press yourself. And I feel like Muschamp is a player's coach.
Yeah, he just doesn't want, the coach isn't going to – the coach already knows he's got a good player. He said, we have plenty of time to do that stuff. I'm not going to – you come in my office and ask me, what do I have to do to make myself better? Let me look at you play a little bit. Let me look at what we're going to use as a scheme and how you fit. That first meeting is not going to be anything but you're already a great player. Just do what you do. Let me figure out that part for you.
I like the part where Colin Simmons talked about not pressing, right? Said Will Muschamp told him not to press. I think that part of Colin Simmons' early struggles in 2025 were that he was pressing a little bit. Yeah. And I think some of that maybe stemmed from the talking he was doing in the offseason. Like, I'm going to break the all-time single-season sack record at Texas. I'm going to put together this historically good season. And I think he just added a lot of weight on his shoulders. And once he kind of started playing free, I think that helped him a little bit. So I like that Will Muschamp's like, hey, man, like, just be you. Do what you do. You know how good you are. I know how good you are. Right. I've been on Georgia's staff the last couple of years. I've seen you play in person. Obviously, I've watched film on you since taking the job. Like, I know what you're about. I'm not going to totally reinvent the wheel here and tell you to change everything. You've got something going here. Like, Be yourself. Do what you do. Let me help you unlock a couple more things, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I'm going to fix my scheme that's going to be built around you anyway. So
Yeah,
the good things that you do, we're going to build around with the things that you do. So don't change up too much. You don't need to change up too much. Everything is good.
Yeah, and it's, Will Muschamp, he's aggressive. We know what he's all about, but we also know that he's a player's coach. We hear this from current.
Yeah.
We've heard it from former players who were around when he was the DC for his first stint at Texas. He's not just whiteboard breaker. He's not just sideline meltdown guy. He builds and cultivates genuine relationships with his players, and they absolutely love him. And again, your line of they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's for sure.
It just based on listening to Colin Simmons talk last week in Tampa, like he knows how much Will Muschamp cares. And I think all those guys know how much this guy cares. So they're willing to learn and listen. I think his track record kind of speaks for itself too, but they're willing to learn from him to get better.
Yeah, he's just right for a guy that's got the ability of Colin Simmons. He's just the right guy. He's going to let him be himself, but he's also smart enough to understand that my schemes are going to fit some of these other dudes around what you do.
Yeah.
I'll be talking to my other players about what they need to do. You do it. You just be you. We'll figure some of this other stuff out.
You've got Will Muschamp almost quoting Billy Joel. Don't go changing to try to please me.
That's exactly right.
I love you just the way you are. Hitting him with that line. You think Colin Simmons knows who Billy Joel is?
Probably not, but that's okay.
You're going to go probably not?
I'm going to say probably not. He's probably heard the song, but he really doesn't know much about. He doesn't have the history that you and Billy Joel have.
Oh, we've got history.
Oh yeah, you know all that stuff. You know all the Billy Joel stuff now.
It sound like we hooked up or something at one point.
No. You have musical. You and Billy Joel's. You got the music stuff. You like Billy Joel, I believe.
I've seen him in concert a few times. I would guess Colin Simmons.
And you'll go a long way to see him, won't you?
Dallas or Houston. Does that count as a long way?
Well, no, you'll get back to New York. If you had a ticket to Madison Square Garden to see him, well, he did a bunch of stuff. I'm surprised you never made it to Madison Square Garden where here he's doing his year stint there.
No, I think I've seen him 3 times, and it's been in Austin at Coda. Shout out to our friends at Circuit of the Americas. It's been in Arlington at the old Temple, former home of the Texas Rangers, and it's been at Minute Maid Park, home of the Houston Astros.
There's a couple people that I'd go to distance to see. Andre Buccelli is one. I'd go to distance.
How far have you gone? You say that, but did you ever leave Austin to go see him?
To Philly before to see him.
Okay, all right, there you go.
And I would go. I saw him every time he was in Austin. Where else would I go to distance to see? For a while, it wasn't the distance, but when Gladys Knight would come here, I would always go. I mean, I've seen her perform like 6 or 7 times. She'd be at the Paramount. I would go, and it's the same thing. She got a couple of the Pips that are still alive and well that would be with her, but I would just go to see her, just to listen to her, just to listen to the songs. Now her voice started to wane a little bit, but it's just her. She's magic on stage. So those are 2 that I would go see. And I definitely, if he was still alive and still around, but he's not, Prince. I mean, I went to see Prince and the farewell tour in Dallas at a Reunion Arena. That dude played for like 4 hours. It was unbelievable. Craig Way was actually selling T-shirts. I didn't know Craig Way then. I was at Boston College at the time. BC had gone to play at the Cotton Bowl when Doug Flutie was there. And I went to see Prince. I've never seen a concert I never seen a performance like what that dude put on. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's one I wish I would have loved to have seen. And there's Craig Way T-shirt stories, by the way. Very, very good.
He was selling T-shirts at that concert at Reunion Arena.
Good way to make money, but more importantly, good way to go see some incredible shows.
Wow.
Good thinking right there.
Yeah, Prince had quite the band. I think Sheila E. was a part of that, playing the drums at that time. He was special. He played all kinds of instruments there. I thought he was just a guitarist. That guy was playing drums. He was playing the horn. He was playing everything. The organ. That guy could do it.
There you go. I would think Colin Simmons knows Prince, right?
Yes.
Okay. Gladys Knight,
No.
and no to Billy Joel.
And no to Billy Joel. He may know Gladys Knight from probably his parents listening to the music.
Okay. So his parents can't listen to Billy Joel. What are you saying?
No, I'm just saying that they probably listen to a lot more Gladys Knight, probably.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, these are the hard-hitting questions that we need to ask Colin Simmons. Everyone's asking him the football stuff, but we got to get to know these players, you know?
What about Cool Mo D? Do you think you know Cool Mo D? No.
No chance.
Only Buck knows Cool Mo D.
No chance. He might say yes, but he'd be lying to you. Cool Mo D did not he didn't pass from generation to generation.
No, he did not. He didn't make that jump. No.
Not big enough. All right, one final bit of sound from Colin Simmons here. He was asked about how his leadership has grown. Look, his play has turned him into a leader the last couple of years, but now he's an upperclassman, year 3 in the program, one of the elder statesmen on the Texas defense. He, I think, is expected to have more of a leadership role in that locker room in the 2026 season. So here's Colin Simmons talking about how that element of his game has grown.
Just being myself, showing my teammates that they can just be themselves. You know, they don't have to change. They don't have to impress nobody. You know, people are going to have opinions regardless of what it is, good or bad. But at the end of the day, as long as you stay true to yourself, can't nothing move you.
Stay true to yourself and be a good football player, will you?
Yeah, so he made it sound like he's not doing anything crazy to change the type of leader he is. Like, and guys can see through that. It's like you've known this guy for 2 years, and all of a sudden he comes back one spring or one summer or one fall, and he's just a totally different dude. You're going to know it's an act. You're going to know it's a farce. You're going to know that's not who he is. So Colin Simmons is like, yeah, no, like I'm a leader. I've got some of those traits already. I've had them the last couple of years. I'm going to continue to be me. And look, you rally around a guy like that, a player who's that talented, a guy who you can lean on that side of the football. He doesn't have to all of a sudden turn into a crazy rah-rah over-the-top guy, which, look, he already is a talker. He already is confident. He already kind of sets the tone. That's just his personality. But he's not doing anything ridiculous to try to do that just because, again, he's now an upperclassman on this roster.
No, you're right.
So there you go. Some Colin Simmons sound, some Arch Manning sound. Obviously expecting big things from both of those dudes, maybe the most talented players on their respective sides of the football, and 2 guys who could be up for major awards and 2 guys who could have their names called very early in next year's NFL draft.
No doubt about it. All right, we talked about it. We did NFL, we've done college, but we didn't get to your team, the Texans. What is CJ Stroud? Is that deal? Are they done with talks? Are they close? I mean, I get bits and pieces, but I haven't really sat down to figure it out. Are they in negotiations, BK, or are they going to stop negotiations?
No, I don't think they're negotiating anything. I mean, they have had talks, is what I've seen, but
they want to wait and see. They're just wait and see mode. They keep saying they're in talks, but they want to see how he plays.
I think Nick Caserio earlier this week said, like, they've talked. Nick Caserio, the Texans GM. So, look, maybe. I mean, this could be a buy low situation. Not that CJ Stroud would be totally cheap, but, like, he's coming off a horrible playoff run and a really disappointing overall 2025 season. And it feels like he's regressed since his tremendous rookie season. So maybe they are talking. Maybe the Texans are like, can we lowball him a little bit and just hope that he regains his form? And all of a sudden we've got one of the best deals at the most expensive position in the sport. But I would think that there will be no long-term deal done. And this is just that critical season for CJ Stroud where he's playing for that new contract. And
aren't you allowed to get lowballed and have a great year anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, he's got 2 more years on his deal because his 5th-year option was picked up. So he won't be a free agent after next year. He's got 2 years guaranteed in Houston. But this is the first year they can get a long-term deal done. They can do it this offseason. They can do it next offseason. They can do it 2 off seasons from now. They can do what the Cowboys did with Dak Prescott and say, we're going to keep kicking the can down the road, and you're going to play on the franchise tag for a couple of years before we give you the long-term deal. So the Texans, they don't have to get this thing done right now. Man, if I'm CJ Stroud's agent and I believe in CJ Stroud, if he doesn't, then it's like, well, maybe take the contract right now, dude, because you kind of suck.
Yeah,
But
I was kind of thinking that way, but I'm thinking, how many quarterbacks do that? How many quarterbacks that started out the way that dude started out, no matter how things are starting to go the other way, are going to get lowballed. They generally just don't do that.
yeah, I don't think CJ Stroud's bad, for the record. So yeah, if I'm his agent, I'm like, dude, just go ball out this year. You play really well, then you'll get your money. You'll get a long-term contract, but one that you're actually looking for, and not one that you would probably get if you agreed to it right now.
And by the way, if they don't want you, somebody else will want you. You are a quarterback.
Yeah, and he's had good years in this league.
Yeah.
And again, he wasn't bad last year. He was bad in the playoffs, but like he didn't have like a horrific regular season where it's like, oh God, is this guy a top 32 QB in the sport? There are other
the Arizona Cardinals would have taken him in a minute.
dude.
Compared to what they were doing with Kobe Brisket. I mean, it's like, come on, really?
There's 15 teams at least that would rather have CJ Stroud than their current quarterback.
Yes.
So, yeah, if the Texans decide to move on, they're not going to between now and the start of this season. But after this season, let's say they want to go after a Baker Mayfield, or they want to trade up and draft a talented quarterback in what's supposed to be a loaded QB class, then, yeah, there will be suitors, plural, who would love CJ Stroud on their team. I don't think the Texans are going to let him go. I think he plays well. I think he gets a long-term contract, and he ends up being the guy. But, again, they've got to see it. Because the Texans, they are, you could argue, a similar spot to the Cowboys. I mean, they've never been to a conference championship game. For the Cowboys, it's 30 years. The Texans have been a lot closer. They've been knocking on the door a lot louder in recent seasons. Like, they keep making the playoffs. They keep winning a playoff game in the wild card round, and then they keep losing in the divisional round. So it's like, at some point,
but they got a defense that is just so out of sight, and you better take advantage of that defense while you can.
Right. So that's where it's like CJ Stroud could have a really good year, but if he just has one bad game in the divisional round of the postseason, then the Texans, again, he's under contract 2 more years, so they wouldn't really have to do anything next offseason. They could just say, hey, 2027 is another prove it year. Go prove it. We'll give you one last chance. Or they could be like, I don't know how much longer this defense is going to be this good, so let's try something else.
Well, I just think with that particular coach, that defense is always going to be pretty good. And that defensive staff that they have together, I think they figure out what they're looking, the kind of players they're looking for, and what they want to do defensively.
Yeah.
And they've got a defensive head coach. I think they'll always be good that way.
Yeah, with D'Amico Ryans, right? You give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but how long will they wait, and how long are they going to wait on him, even if they got great defense, if they don't get to where they need to be?
Yeah, and you've got young studs. I mean, Derek Stingley, young stud.
Yes.
Will Anderson Jr., young stud. Those guys aren't going anywhere. But, think of a Daniil Hunter, who's one of the best pass rushers, one of the most underrated players in the game for the last decade. He's in his 30s now. Like, you've got some guys who are getting up there in age. You just don't know. Like, you'd like to think the Texans defense is going to always be good while D'Amico's there, but like, it is Super Bowl good.
Right.
The Seahawks won the Super Bowl. It was like them and the Texans had the 2 best defenses in football. Like, in every they were 1 or 2, and then the other team was 1 or 2. So like, that's all you need is CJ Stroud to be Sam Darnold. And you need your run game to be a lot better too, which they went out and got David Montgomery in an effort to fix that. So it's not all on CJ Stroud. But yeah, you don't need Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. You just need a good quarterback who can do enough with your defense to win you some games in the postseason.
For sure.
So we'll get to some D'Amico sound tomorrow and talk more Texans, because there's a lot for them to try to figure out. Big year for Houston in what's a much better division now in the AFC South than what it has been in recent years.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll talk about that, but we'll get to the BBK news. We got a couple of stories I want to get to, and including Chad Ochocinco with some interesting dating advice for the people.
Oh, dating advice, always good. Yes.
And Live Golf might not be dead after all, Buck.
Oh, somebody came, some sheik came through with some cash.
Somebody came, and it might have been me.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Our good friends over at Woods Comfort Systems, they'll come to your house, that's for sure.
Yes.
You got a problem with the air conditioning system, and hopefully you do not. But right now during this heat wave, folks, you want to make sure your air conditioning system is running properly. Then call on the folks at Woods Comfort Systems. 71 years in the service. They are absolutely fantastic. Now they do plumbing. We know they do heating. We know they do air conditioning. But if you got any plumbing problems, please call on them, indoors or outdoors, for Woods Comfort Systems. 71 years. Nobody does it better, folks.
WoodsComfortSystems.com, 512-842-5066. That's how you get a hold of them. Tell them you heard about them right here on Bucky and BK. Tons of great sales going on. They're the very best at what they do. Shout out to them. Shout out to Early Bird CBD.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. Golf day yesterday, right?
Yeah, man. Had a couple drops in my just straight up water. Drank a couple water bottles, put a couple drops in there. Felt fantastic, feeling good today. And that was a lot of walking yesterday. I got out of the carts. Hey, old man, why are you walking? You know, you can ride to the next tee box. I said, I can walk there. My tee box is, hell, since I only get 6 yards in front of where you're hitting the ball, I can walk to that. No, get in the cart. No, I'm not saying that I'm getting a fair distribution now with me moving up, BK, but some courses, it's not that fair. Just not. But that, I'm telling you what, I had my CBD in me. I felt fantastic today. Thought I'd be hurting today with the heat and everything else. Knees feel good, ankles, my shoulders feel good, my back. I hadn't played for 2 weeks because of my, my dental stuff. So thought this was going to be a very painful day. Between relaxed the back chair and my little droplets, feeling great. And I'll feel great for the next couple of days too.
There you go. If you're like the Buck, helping with pain alleviation, Early Bird CBD is for you. I take them just to relax. I got a flight home tomorrow. I'll pop an Early Bird CBD gummy tomorrow night after the show, heading back home. And I'll just sleep on the plane. These things help me sleep. They help me relax. And that's why I love them so much. So
no talking with anybody next to you. Is your girl with you? Is she coming back with you?
Yeah, we'll be flying back together, but I'd talk to her enough. I don't need any.
You don't like talking on the plane to her?
No, we've been together all week, and she don't want to hear from my ass either. She'll put her headphones in, I'll have mine in, and we'll be good to go.
I like it. I love when you're sitting beside somebody that you don't know, and they will hold a conversation. I don't hold conversations in planes. I sleep.
Yeah. Hey, you want to hold something? Hold these.
Hold this. Hold this while I sleep.
Yeah, how about that? Shout out, speaking of Sleep Cycle Center, our guy, Dr. Chad, and his great team at Sleep Cycle Center. They will make your sleeping problems go away. Look, maybe sleeping on an airplane's tough, but if you're not able to sleep in your own bed, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you can't fall asleep, if you can't stay asleep, if your snoring keeps you awake in the middle of the night, reach out to Sleep Cycle Center, and they've got tons of ways to make your sleeping problems go away forever. It's not just CPAP. They've got night guards, oral appliances, state-of-the-art technologies to, again, fix your sleeping issues for good. Don't mess around with your sleep. It's too important. It's like the most important thing that you do in this life. You got to recharge. You got to do it the right way. Our guy, Dr. Chad at Sleep Cycle Center, will, again, get you taken care of. 2 Austin area locations, one up north, 183 and Breaker, the other in Lakeway off of 620. It is Sleep Cycle Center. Go to sleepcyclecenters.com for more information.
Sweet.
All right, we dive into the BBK news here, Buck. And how about a little dating advice from longtime NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson?
Okay.
AKA Chad Ocho Cinco. He's given us a very interesting quote about dating. And this kind of applies to you, Buck, with the life partner that you currently have.
Okay.
Chad Johnson, currently single. He says that he will only date women with multiple children. And here's why. He said, quote, women without kids, 99% of the time, have no food in the fridge, no snacks in the pantry, and they always want to eat out. I don't care about dressing up or food pics. Do you have snacks in the pantry?
That's interesting.
So do you like that? Because, like, in my past, it's like, I don't want to date anybody with kids. That's extra. I mean, that's kids. I don't have to explain what that is. Like, I don't want that. I'm good. No, thank you. I don't want to deal with any of the drama that comes with you having a kid from somebody else. I'm out. But Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, says, nah, man, if you ain't have no kids, you got no food at home. I'm trying to, like, just munch on the snacks that you've got for your kids.
Yeah, don't be so cheap. Take her out. You can take her out. cut it out like that. When you're dating somebody, you're going to take her to different places. You're going to find out what she's like out in public. If she's eating with her hands or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Picking off of somebody else's plate, picking up tips off of somebody else's table. You got to find out what your mate is going to be like. That's important, So I don't need to have, before I got married, I dated, but the ones I dated never had kids. And it didn't matter if they did or not. I'm just trying to find out what that person's like. So, plus I'm not a cheapskate like that. Come on, Chad. I'm not going in their house looking for snacks. The hell is that?
Chad Johnson is one of the most notoriously frugal celebrities of all time. And he's open about it. The guy eats McDonald's. He's a fast food guy, made a bunch of money in the NFL, is still doing podcasts and shows. Like, he's got enough of a presence where money is still coming his way. And he is open about how he doesn't like to spend it a whole lot. I'm sure he goes on dates and will take his girls out at times, but he's like, nah, man, I got to make sure you got snacks at your place. I'm not trying to go out every single night. I don't want you to abuse me just because you know how much money I made playing football. You got to provide for me too.
Yeah, I've always been I'm still that guy who, if I go with my wife, if it's my birthday or whatever, she'll pay for something, but very seldom does my wife. My card comes out and I pay for dinner. I don't go, and I never went on dates where I went 50-50 on stuff. If I couldn't take you on a date, then I wouldn't take you on a date. I wouldn't ask you to go to dinner with me if I was going to ask you to pay for half of it. And, I've gone on dates where the girl would bring out her card and start to go like, and I'd be like, no, I was the one that asked you on the date. You didn't ask me on the date. Now, maybe if you would have asked me to go out, hey, I want to take you. If you said I want to take you to somewhere, then you want to pay. That probably would be okay. I wouldn't like it, but I would be okay with it. But if I ask a girl to date, I'm not going to ask her to pay for half the meal.
Well, what about now? You've been married for what, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years?
I pay for all the dinners. We go out, I pay for all the dinners. Unless it's a birthday. My wife feels like it's something. If we go to Fonda San Miguel and it's on my birthday or something for my birthday, she pulls out, she goes, well, I was the one who wanted to go here. I'm always like, okay, that makes you feel good because you're going to pay for this particular meal, that's great. But, we go to places, our normal, go to Jack Allen's or something like that. I pay for it. I don't expect her to pay for it. And I've always told, my two sons, I said, dude, if you're going to ask a girl to go on a date, don't even think about her paying for it. That means you're not ready to go on a date and go out to dinner. If you're letting her pay for it, then don't do it. You're not ready yet for that.
It's different though, because I agree with you. Like, you're taking a girl on a date early on in a relationship. Like, yeah, you got to pay. That's call it old school, call it antiquated, whatever. Like, that's how I operate too. But if you've been married to someone or you've been dating them for a long time, I know some people share accounts when you get married, so it's like it's all the same anyways. But at some point in a relationship, is it like maybe you got this one?
No, and I don't. I have separate. I have my separate checking. I have my separate money. Yeah. I've always done that. I've always been that way. When I was married to my first wife for all these years with all these kids and stuff, I had a certain amount that I knew I had to pay a month, and I knew, taxes and things like that. There would be an account that had both of our names. But don't think the old Buck doesn't have his own accounts now, his own savings and his own checking. Because remember, I'm still writing checks out to mail off for stuff.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. But, if my wife insisted that when we went to dinner and she pulled out her card and got it out before I did, or she was for some reason thinking that way, I'd be okay. I'm not going to argue about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with her about that. But I've never been one to, if I don't know, if I'm just dating, no, I'm paying for it because I'm the one who's asking to go here. You want to go to dinner here? You want to go to dinner? I'm paying for it.
Yeah, I'll let the girl pay. She'll pay every once in a while for a meal, but again, we've been dating for a long enough time. Like, for the first whatever year that we were together, I think I was paying for pretty much everything, and now she's like, I'm good. I make money. I'm all right. Like, I'll take care of you.
What will you do once you live together in groceries and things like that? That's going to be if she's not going to ask you for your credit card if she goes to HEB to get a bunch of stuff. That's going to be that. How does that work?
Well, I'll say this, back to the Chad Ochocinco quote. Like, my girlfriend doesn't have crap in her fridge or her pantries at her current place. So that's like, maybe Ocho's right when it comes to the kids thing, I'm going to be the one supplying all that. Yeah, I don't
Once
know.
again, remember, I can't use the stove, so there's no reason for me to go and buy a bunch of stuff. Whatever I cook, it's going to be out on the grill. If it can make
Yeah.
it to the grill, I can go get it. But she's not going to go to the store and buy stuff for me that I like, because everything I like is junk to her. So
Yeah. And everything you like tastes good. And she
yeah,
hates it.
you're absolutely right. And now here's where I'm going every Saturday morning, to the damn farmer's market, picking up
Yep.
stuff, picking up my chicken and corn. I mean, I can't even go to HEB to get like chicken and stuff. I got to go to farmer's market. I'm
That's
fresh.
crazy.
I'm not eating butt lettuce. I'm just not doing that right now.
You can get butt lettuce from the farmer's market, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, they don't. Once again, it's that time of the year. It's hard to get it from there. So we have to get it from Mexico or wherever they're touching their butts and then putting their hands on the lettuce right now.
Yeah. Well, last but not least, how about Live Golf, Buck?
What's going on there?
Well, earlier this week, we had the story about Live reportedly canceling its final event of the season.
It's the biggest event of all their deals, where they play team stuff.
Right. The team, they do that every week, but this was the team championship.
Right.
It's like the FedEx Cup playoffs for Live Golf, if you will.
And what are some of their teams? What they got? The Commodores and the Beatles and things like that.
Yeah, the Commodores, the Pips, the Beatles, the Supremes.
The Stones, the Rolling Stones team.
The Stones are a team. Yep. I think Billy Squire is a team.
They're very nice.
Yeah. I don't know how one of the names is just individual. But, yeah, so, again, there was rumors that their last event of the year, the team championship, was going to be canceled. And we kind of assumed that was the nail in the coffin for the greatest sports league of all time.
Yes.
Apparently not to be. At least there's a chance, because according to the New York Post, the Live Golf League is reportedly on the cusp of landing $250 million in investments, with multiple written commitments from blue chip investment firms that would serve as anchor investors to support the league.
Are these USA firms, or are these firms from across the pond and across the desert?
I have no further details, which makes me think this is a bunch of crap from Live trying to generate interest in their incredibly unsuccessful golf league. And it's like, oh, you better jump in now. We've got a lot of offers. If you don't do this now, you're going to miss your chance to.
You're talking about fake news. This sounds like fake news to me.
That's just a report. It's all reports right now. But that, I don't know, if Liv gets that money, that would keep them alive for at least one more year, right?
They're probably thinking, hell, people are getting $20 million, $17 million for patches on uniforms. Maybe we need to throw in with Liv and see what we can do.
Yeah. Well, I think more people are watching Ohio State and Notre Dame football than Live Golf. I cannot confirm. Actually, I can confirm that. There are a lot.
It's been confirmed.
Sorry about that, CW. Not as many people are watching you on a Friday afternoon as a Saturday night Texas-Ohio State game. So, I don't know. Maybe I got to be nice to Live again and
I have not watched
BK
since it's come on. I have not watched a full round of that.
It's good stuff,
on the CW,
man.
I have not. I know you're glued to the set when it comes on.
Gotta be. And it's in an effort to get us maybe our most lucrative partnership of all time. Now they got $250 million investors in there, and they're not Saudis, so I can feel good about myself while also taking their money.
Oh, yeah. Take that money. It doesn't matter whether you'd feel good about yourself. You'd take that money.
Well, yeah, I would have done it from the Saudi PIF. No problem at all. Whatever it is, just send it my way. Thank you very much. Oh, man. All right. Well, there's your BBK news for a Thursday show, a Buck Off Thursday show. Buck on to Live for finding a way to exist.
Buck on to Live for just finding a way to live.
For finding a way to live. Yep. Should have said that. Buck on to you. Great show, my friends.
Likewise, man. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun today.
Those interviews were great. Listening to those guys talk.
Yeah.
Do you know what's cool about that? You can tell the maturity of Arch Manning from one year to the next. That's just a different dude already.
100%. 100%. Yeah. All of our excitement, I won't speak for you, all of my excitement surrounding Texas football in 2026 spans around Arch Manning. Like, he's the center of the universe. And if you didn't have him being the talent and the guy he was, then it wouldn't matter what else Texas has assembled. But I'm a big believer in Arch going into this season. And yeah, can't wait. 37 days till Texas kicks off. 30 days until week 0. We'll continue our fall camp preview tomorrow, and we'll talk more NFL, and who knows what the world's going to give us between now and then. But
I know you got to go. Listen, Jason on our little chat line right there, what he says right there is very true, BK. What he says is very true. It's important to have these long conversations.
Oh, not this one.
No, the one you've been talking about dating and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's really important. That can change your life into a whole happy wife and happy life for you. Because remember, you're involved too. Don't everybody always I talk about my wife and this and what I can't do. Let me tell you, your happiness is important, just as important as her happiness.
Yeah, it's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy BK, happy she K.
There you go. Yes.
Those are
very nice. Well done. Well put.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you all as always for tuning in. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Hook 'em.
Hook up.